Not every wonder on Earth rises above the ground. Some places instead reveal themselves through enormous voids, as if the Earth had suddenly collapsed and exposed another world beneath the surface. From deep blue sinkholes, hidden within dense forests, to vast chasms lying silently in the middle of deserts, every sinkhole possesses a beauty that is both mesmerizing and terrifying. There are places where humans can hardly survive, yet beneath these giant openings, life still finds a way to exist. They seem like places that people should never be able to reach, yet curiosity and the desire to explore continue to drive them to find every possible way to get there. Today, let us explore the most spectacular sinkholes on Earth, where beauty and fear exist together within a single, enormous void. Darvaza gas crater in the Karakum Desert is a perpetual gas sinkhole located in isolation within the driest and harshest land on the entire Earth. Since 1971, hundreds of tiny fire vents erupting from the ancient rock walls have never gone out, creating a relentless and eternal sea of flames. With a width of 226 feet and a depth of 98 feet, this massive entity is large enough to swallow a 10-story building into its core. Standing at the edge, you will hear the constant growls of gas escaping under high pressure, creating an atmosphere of intense drama and visceral fear for visitors. At night, the bright orange light from the crater can be seen from many miles away, resembling a giant glowing ember burning in the middle of the dark. The surrounding air is always thick with the smell of sulfur and burning gas, a pungent scent directly recalling descriptions of the mythological ancient underworld. Dragon's Breath Cave currently holds the world record for the largest non-frozen and non-illuminated underground lake on the planet, with a surface area of 5 acres. This cave lies hidden 150 feet beneath the arid surface of the Kalahari Desert, creating an amazing geological paradox deep within the Earth's crust. With acoustic wave measurements confirming a depth of at least 430 feet. The actual lake floor could be many times deeper than that. Many professional divers describe the feeling of descending here as pure terror because the thick darkness is ready to swallow any flashlight and cause extreme disorientation. The water appears ink black and only turns a mysterious dark blue when hit by strong light beams, signaling an immeasurable and hauntingly deep abyss. Xiaojiatiankeng, hidden within the mountains of Chongqing, is actually the deepest natural sinkhole on the planet, with a chasm reaching down 2,172 feet. From above, this massive funnel appears as a magnificent black hole capable of swallowing entire skyscrapers into the earth. The structure consists of two nested layers, separated by steep ledges and treacherous limestone walls formed over tens of thousands of years. During periods of war or unrest, this isolated terrain served as an absolutely safe natural fortress for local residents due to its impenetrable and secluded nature. The cliffs stand at nearly 90 degrees, yet are covered in ancient moss and old trees clinging resiliently, creating a landscape both magnificent and terrifying. You must walk through more than 2,800 steps, clinging to the cliffs, a journey that challenges all limits of endurance and fear of heights. Blue Hole of Dahab is known as the Divers' Cemetery because of its geological structure, like a giant well plunging straight into the sea at 308 feet. With the highest mortality rate on the planet, this place has claimed the lives of about 200 explorers over the past several decades due to overconfidence. At a depth of 184 feet, lies an 85-foot-long tunnel through the rock wall that leads out into the vast and treacherous open ocean. The extreme pressure causes nitrogen in the blood to become toxic, inducing a state of false euphoria and loss of judgment, leading to many tragic and fatal accidents. At the bottom, all light is completely swallowed, leaving only fine silt and the gloomy fragments of equipment from those who have remained there forever in peace. Observed from above, this entity looks like a deep indigo circle set in the golden coral reefs, acting like a shortcut leading directly into the center of the Earth. Iquil Cenote in Mexico is an open limestone sinkhole where you must descend through rock before reaching deep water. The water sits about 85 feet below the ground, creating the feeling of entering a huge natural stone well. The cenote mouth is about 200 feet wide, allowing roots, rock walls, and water to form a deep, enclosed space. The swimming area reaches about 130 feet deep, making it very different from a normal pool and requiring caution. The view stands out because stone walls surround the water, while long roots hang down from the opening above. Bones and jewelry were once found in the water, showing Iquil Cenote was tied to ancient rituals, not just underground water. Cenote dos Ojos in Mexico opens through Yucatan limestone, with 2 water entrances leading into flooded caves stretching for dozens of miles. The Dos Ojos system has been explored since 1987 and once mapped about 51 miles of underwater cave passages. Its recorded maximum depth is about 391 feet, making it one of Mexico's notable deep and complex water caves. When you look into the clear water, the cave floor, stone columns, and tunnels appear like a hidden underground world. In 2018, explorers confirmed Dos Ojos joined a larger cave network once reported at more than 216 miles. In 2010, athlete Carlos Coste set a Guinness record for underwater distance swimming on one breath at Dos Ojos. Cave of Swallows in Mexico is a giant karst pit, famous for a cave mouth that opens straight underground like an extremely deep natural well. Standing on the rim, you see a vertical empty space below, large enough to shock you before any descent. The cave formed as water dissolved limestone over a very long time, widening cracks into a huge, deep shaft. From the lower rim, the free drop to the cave floor is about 1,092 feet, like a building over 100 stories tall. Every morning, birds spiral upward from inside the cave, turning the opening into a rare natural scene. Cave of Swallows is often called one of the world's largest vertical cave pits because of its depth and enormous hollow chamber. Dead Sea sinkholes in Israel and Jordan are famous because ground near the Dead Sea can suddenly collapse into dangerous deep holes. The Dead Sea level drops about 3 feet each year, pushing the shoreline back and weakening underground salt layers. When less salty groundwater dissolves the salt below, empty spaces form, and the land above collapses into sinkholes. Some holes can reach 328 feet wide and 66 feet deep, enough to destroy roads, ground, or nearby structures. From above, the sinkholes appear as circles, small water pools, and cracks spread across a white salt surface. You may be surprised that a dry, salt-flat-looking stable can hide a large void, ready to collapse at any time. Morning Glory Pool, when observed from above, appears magnificent, like a giant flower with a deep sapphire blue center, surrounded by brilliant rings of yellow and burnt orange. This mysterious thermal spring actually possesses the structure of a deep funnel, acting as a direct path leading down into the complex heating vent system of the Yellowstone supervolcano. Although the depth is only about 23 feet, the massive heat and extreme pressure from the Earth turn this place into a dangerous and terrifying thermal abyss. The existence of extremophile bacteria thriving within the hot water, reaching 158 degrees Fahrenheit, is the primary factor that creates the magical color bands of the pool. Scientists call this phenomenon the fading of glory, as a warning about how humans can destroy a million-year-old natural wonder in just a few short decades. Standing out across the dry deserts of Oman, the Oman blue holes appear like gigantic skylights descending deep into the underground world below. The immense depth of these sinkholes could completely swallow the famous Big Ben clock tower inside a dark and terrifying abyss. The enormous openings are large enough to fit a major European city square within the surrounding limestone rock structure beneath the desert. Water stored inside one large sinkhole could fill 1,000 Olympic swimming pools, creating a striking contrast against the barren desert landscape. Water levels at the bottom of these deadly pits constantly shift with ocean tides, despite being located many miles from the coastline. Vertical limestone cliffs surrounding the deep blue water contain natural cracks resembling stone veins, slowly dripping moisture into the depths below. Jacob's Well in Texas, United States, appears like a mesmerizing dark blue abyss emerging directly from the middle of a crystal-clear stream. This deadly well entrance descends into an underground cave system stretching nearly 1 mile, equal to 17 international stadiums connected together continuously. The 140-foot-deep shaft could completely submerge a 14-story building inside the silent darkness of narrow underwater chambers. Sensitive sediment layers at the cave bottom can erase all visibility immediately after only one small movement from a diver's foot. At least 12 people have permanently disappeared inside the dark, narrow chambers since 1935 because of the harsh underwater environment. Ancient cypress tree roots twisting around nearby rocks create a haunting landscape surrounding the deep blue opening of this dangerous abyss. Hidden beneath the Pacific waters surrounding Guam, Blue Hole is a vertical sinkhole, cutting through coral reefs into a dark, underwater abyss. This natural shaft descends more than 300 feet deep, easily swallowing the entire Statue of Liberty inside the coral stone chamber below. The sinkhole entrance is wide enough for a double-decker bus to fit comfortably without touching the surrounding coral walls inside the abyss. As divers descend deeper, sunlight gradually fades away and is replaced by a dense blue-black darkness covering every human sense completely. Water pressure at nearly 60 feet deep begins compressing a diver's chest like a giant invisible hand crushing every breath underwater. Sounds inside the sinkhole become amplified by surrounding rock walls, making human breathing echo like the heartbeat of the vast ocean itself. Hidden beneath New Zealand's limestone plateau, Harwood Hole is a vertical sinkhole cutting through mysterious layers of extremely hard marble rock formations. The free fall inside this abyss reaches nearly 580 feet deep, more than twice the height of the Statue of Liberty. Marble walls polished by water over millions of years became smooth and vertical, surrounding a silent underground space filled with cold darkness. The sinkhole suddenly appears within dense forest like a dark opening, wide enough for a jet aircraft to plunge directly underground. The connected cave network beneath the deadly pit extends almost 1,170 feet deep, exceeding the height of the famous Eiffel Tower. When a heavy object falls into the pit, the long silence before impact echoes back from darkness, creates an unsettling feeling for visitors. Red Lake in Croatia appears like a fiery crimson scar surrounding a dark blue lake hidden beneath towering vertical limestone cliffs. This immense abyss reaches a total depth of nearly 1,740 feet, enough to contain Chicago's Willis Tower completely inside its red stone chamber. The lake bottom actually lies below sea level, an extremely rare geological phenomenon, challenging ordinary hydrological patterns found across Earth today. Vertical cliffs stained with iron oxide create deadly walls, making it almost impossible for a thrown stone to strike the distant water surface. Advanced exploration robots once reached the lake floor at nearly 800 feet beneath the mysterious calm water, covering the hidden abyss below. Local legends claim the lake formed after an ancient castle was swallowed by Earth itself as punishment for overwhelming human greed. Zacaton is the deepest water-filled sinkhole in the world, located in the Tamaulipas state of Mexico, with a pristine beauty that hides many terrifying dangers. With a total depth reaching 939 feet, this landmark challenges all human biological limits and becomes a deadly zone. Giant floating islands of dried grass drifting freely on the lake surface make the landscape here look strange and very unique. NASA once had to use high-tech robots to explore the bottom because the water pressure is 28 times higher than normal. An extreme environment lacking oxygen and filled with toxic gases turns this sinkhole into one of the most mysterious places on the blue planet. inner space cavern in Texas was discovered in 1963 when a construction drill suddenly dropped 20 feet into an empty void. This gateway to the underworld sits deep below the busy Interstate 35 with a system of ancient Edwards limestone caves. For tens of thousands of years, this place became a giant, natural trap, collecting bones of many extinct Ice Age animals. Scientists found fossils of Columbian mammoths and saber-toothed cats in perfect condition among the limestone chambers. Eternal stone waterfalls, weighing tens of thousands of pounds, formed from continuous mineral deposits over millions of years of geological history. Inner Space Cavern is now strictly protected as a national natural landmark containing many mysteries that are not yet fully explored. In South Australia, the Umferstone Sinkhole was formed following a devastating geological disaster when the entire roof of a massive limestone cave collapsed inward. This terrifying collapse created a deadly pit with a depth of 65 feet, which is equal to the height of a 6-story building. With a mouth stretching approximately 164 feet wide, this geological structure exposes ancient marine sediments that were formed millions of years ago. The erosion mechanism of acidic rainwater silently dissolved the limestone, creating dangerous hollow chambers right beneath the stable surface of the ground. Today, these vertical stone walls are completely covered by thick vegetation hanging down from above to create a truly surreal landscape. The existence of Umferstone is a reminder of the transformative power of nature, where a dangerous sinkhole became an impressive world wonder. The Great Blue Hole, located in the waters of Belize, is actually an ancient limestone cave system, swallowed by the ocean after the Ice Age ended 150,000 years ago. From above, this entity looks like a giant, dark blue eye staring fixedly into the universe, creating a deadly contrast with the surrounding shallow waters. With a diameter of 1,043 feet, and a depth of 407 feet. This giant sinkhole is large enough to hold two Boeing 747 aircraft, placed tail to tail within its depths. In 1971, explorer Jacques Cousteau brought this place to light, turning it into one of the most dangerous and challenging diving sites on the planet. In contrast to the life on the outer coral reef, the interior of the hole is a world of absolute silence, where sunlight is completely extinguished by eternal darkness. You must face extreme water pressure and labyrinthine caves full of risks, where only the most professional divers dare to step into the boundary of death. Dean's Blue Hole in the Bahamas is located in a small bay where the boundary between knee-deep water and the 600-feet abyss is exactly one step away. This entity once reigned as the deepest blue hole on the planet, with a chasm reaching down 663 feet beneath the silent ocean surface. The narrow opening of 115 feet wide suddenly expands into a massive cavern, 330 feet broad due to ancient limestone erosion processes. Local residents have long feared the legend of the monster Lusca, a shark-octopus hybrid believed to pull curious intruders down into the dark watery void. Many divers have lost their lives here from extreme water pressure or nitrogen narcosis, making this site both a sanctuary for records and a brutal warning. Faint rays of light from the entrance look like the gates of heaven slowly closing as you begin to sink deeper into this silent blue hell. Bingham Canyon opens a giant scar on the Earth's skin and stands as the largest man-made excavation capable of swallowing the tallest skyscrapers on the planet. Observed from above this entity, mimics a grand Roman Colosseum with countless curving rock layers, forming a direct path down into a dark and deep hell. With a width of 3 miles and a depth of nearly 1 mile, this is the lowest point human hands have ever reached into the planet's crust. This massive project proves the human desire to conquer, as well as the greed to exploit natural resources to the absolute extreme limit of our race. The mine walls glow with copper red, blended with sulfur yellow, creating an industrial beauty both majestic and breathtakingly cruel in its very nature. In 2013, a record-breaking landslide involving 165 million tons of rock and earth completely collapsed into the heart of this massive abyss. If you drop-feed the massive Freedom Tower into Crater Lake, it would vanish completely within the 1,943 feet deep water without leaving a single trace behind. The strangest detail is an ancient giant tree trunk that has stood upright and floated aimlessly for over 120 years without ever showing signs of rotting. The lake water achieves absolute clarity because no rivers flow inside the crater, with the primary source being filtered only from rain and pure melting snow. Indigenous people feared this surface so much, they saw it as a forbidden realm of gods and believed that looking at the water meant facing a sudden death. The name Witch's Pool was once used to describe the hauntingly quiet beauty and the strange phenomena that remain to this day without any logical or scientific explanation. Vertical cliffs rising up to 2,000 feet high surround the crater like a solid fortress wall to guard the 1,000-year-old secrets hidden deep at the bottom. The Big Hole in South Africa is a colossal scar on the Earth and is honored as the largest man-made wonder in the world dug by hand. Miners removed more than 22 million tons of earth and rock using only pure muscle power to create this largest manual excavation on the entire planet. The original mining depth reached 790 feet, but currently measures only about 574 feet due to soil erosion and rising water levels. While standing on the steel observation deck extending over the crater, you will feel a chilling draft and overwhelming awe at the human destruction of nature. When the open pit became too dangerous, workers dug additional tunnels as deep as 3,500 feet beneath the hole to continue their search for diamonds. Thor's Well is a natural rock hole on the Oregon coast of the United States, famous for looking like a giant drain swallowing the Pacific Ocean. The hole is about 20 feet deep, not bottomless, but deep enough to make the ocean look like it is being drained. Thor's Well formed from an old sea cave, whose rocky roof later collapsed after long erosion by waves. During high tide, water is forced into a narrow rock chamber, then bursts upward before falling back into the hole. You should stay far from the rocky edge, because sudden waves can cover wet stone and pull people or gear into the sea. In 2025, one person died after falling into Thor's Well, making this beautiful place known as extremely dangerous. Cenote Hubicu in Mexico is famous for an underground pool under a partly closed limestone roof, where you must go down to see the main landscape. The path to the water has about 115 steps, taking you from dry ground into a cool pool hidden inside rock. Rainwater and groundwater slowly dissolve the limestone around the pool over a long time, creating a hollow space before part of the roof collapsed. Tree roots hang from the cave opening toward the pool, showing how the surface still connects with the underground water space. Many cenotes in Maya culture are linked to sacred ideas because groundwater was seen as a doorway to the world below. Blue Hole in Gozo. Malta is an open coastal limestone hole where a small surface pool leads down into deep diving space. You begin inside a sheltered rock pool, then swim through an underwater arch into the open sea outside. The waterhole is about 49 feet deep, creating the feeling of entering a natural stone well beside the sea. The sea arch sits about 20 feet underwater, turning the dive into a strong change of scenery. The scene feels unusual because a small surface pool connects with deep-sea walls, rock chambers, and much wider water space. Outside Blue Hole, the seabed can drop beyond 197 feet, making the shift from closed pool to deep sea happen quickly. Kong Collapse in Vietnam opens inside ancient limestone mountains as a giant sinkhole about 1,476 feet deep. Some expeditions last 5 days and 4 nights, combining about 14 miles of trekking with dangerous underground river sections. Reaching this place is not easy because you must trek through forest, swim dark caves, and rappel down vertical rock walls. When you stand at the bottom, hundreds of feet of rock walls surround you, leaving only a distant opening above. Kong Collapse formed when a huge limestone cave roof collapsed, exposing humid forest, massive fallen rocks, and an underground river below. In 2020, Vietnamese media reported a newly discovered exit, increasing Kong Collapse's appeal for serious cave exploration. Chuquicamata in Chile is a giant open-pit copper mine in the northern desert region, once considered among the largest and deepest open-pit copper mines in the world. From above, you see mining levels stepping down into the earth, making its industrial scale clearer than any number. The pit is about 3 miles long and 2 miles wide, large enough to turn desert ground into a massive work zone. The mine lies in northern Chile's desert, where the dry climate exposes layers of rock and soil after excavation. Evidence of copper extraction here dates back to pre-Spanish times, when people already used copper for tools and weapons. Boesmansgat in South Africa draws curiosity because a small waterhole on the surface opens into a flooded cave about 927 feet deep. From the shore, the water may look calm, but below it is a deep, dark, almost enclosed chamber. Divers must use many gas cylinders, guidelines, and backup plans, because returning upward can be as dangerous as descending. You will remember this place because Dave Shaw's 2005 body recovery mission at the cave bottom became a tragedy. Hidden beneath the grasslands of Yorkshire in England, Gaping Gill is a spectacular limestone sinkhole with a deep opening descending directly underground. The peaceful Fell Beck stream suddenly plunges into the abyss, creating a free-falling waterfall twice the height of the Statue of Liberty. The enormous chamber beneath the sinkhole is large enough to contain St. Paul's Cathedral completely without touching the surrounding stone walls. A cave network stretching for many miles beneath the pit forms a dark stone labyrinth where explorers can easily lose direction underground. Steep limestone walls polished by flowing water preserve countless fossils from ancient marine creatures that lived hundreds of millions of years ago. Local shepherds traditionally tied ropes around themselves during heavy fog to avoid accidentally stepping into the deadly open abyss. Hidden among the tropical trees of Samoa, Tesua Ocean Trench appears like a green abyss formed from an ancient volcanic lava tube. The large pool inside the crater is spacious enough to fit a grand theater, while ocean water constantly flows through hidden caves below. This sinkhole descends nearly 100 feet deep, creating a dark underwater space similar to swimming beneath a 10-story open building. Seawater surging through underground limestone tunnels generates pressure as powerful as dozens of fire hoses, creating waves erupting inside the basin. A steep wooden ladder, attached beside the cliff, remains the only route guiding people through darkness toward the turquoise water below. Violent underwater currents beneath the sinkhole constantly threaten to drag objects outward into the vast Pacific Ocean beyond the surrounding cliffs. Located in Chiapas, Mexico, Cima de las Cotorras appears like a gigantic limestone, well containing an entire isolated ecosystem hidden underground. This 460-foot-deep abyss could completely contain the Statue of Liberty, while the torch still remains far below the rim. The crater opening stretches nearly 520 feet wide, creating a space larger than the length of today's biggest international soccer stadiums. Vertical cliff walls preserve 46 vivid red ancient paintings, challenging experts who still cannot explain how they were originally created. Thousands of bright green parrots build nests within dangerous rocky cavities, forming colorful spiraling movements throughout the enormous underground chamber below. The sinkhole floor supports a miniature rainforest filled with dense vegetation and tall trees developing completely separate from the surrounding environment. Blue Lake, located in the town of Imotski in Croatia, is a giant karst sinkhole with a mysterious and terrifying transforming geological structure. This limestone basin has a total depth of up to 2,600 feet, making anyone looking down from the top feel overwhelmed. The strangest point is that the lake water level can rise up to 300 feet in the rainy season, but completely disappears during dry months. When the water drains through underground crevices, the deep lake bottom suddenly becomes a natural football field for the local people. Scientists warn that the complex cave system beneath the lake bed always poses a risk of reverse eruption with extreme water pressure. Blue Lake is truly a deadly crack on the ground that carries a surreal beauty but hides unpredictable geological risks. The Andros Blue Holes in the Bahamas are a submerged sinkhole system possessing the highest density on the planet, with more than 175 holes scattered across the island. These abysses have an overwhelming depth exceeding 330 feet, creating dangerous geological traps hidden beneath the blue water. At a depth of approximately 100 feet, a layer of highly toxic hydrogen sulfide gas appears, making the environment anaerobic and completely devoid of oxygen. Powerful tidal mechanisms create massive whirlpools capable of pulling divers down into a limestone maze with no escape. This extreme environment perfectly preserves ancient human remains and precious animal fossils throughout millions of years of history. The Andros blue holes are truly a mysterious geological wonder that challenges all limits of human exploration on this Earth. Cenote Angelita in Mexico hides a terrifying secret by possessing a mysterious river flowing inside a sinkhole 200 feet deep within the ocean. At a depth of 100 feet, a layer of hydrogen sulfide 10 feet thick creates a dense gray mist separating fresh and salt water. This unique geological phenomenon formed from the decomposition of organic matter over thousands of years, creating an illusion of a deadly underwater forest. Dead tree branches rising from the toxic gas cloud cause divers to lose all sense of direction and feel like they are floating in a void. Immense water pressure and total darkness beneath the mist turn this place into an extreme environment that challenges all human limits. The hollow limestone structure and high concentration of poisonous gas makes Cenote Angelita one of the most frightening sinkholes for scientists worldwide. Bima Sinkhole, located in Oman, is a massive limestone sinkhole created by the collapse of the Earth's crust millions of years ago. With a crater width reaching 165 feet, this geological wonder looks like a mysterious deep cut amidst the arid desert. Scientists have determined the bottom of the hole is about 65 feet deep and contains a turquoise lake with unusual transparency. The water source here is a unique blend of fresh water from mountains and salt water from the sea through complex underground caves. This underground vascular system extends more than 1,900 feet to the ocean, creating extremely dangerous currents and water pressures. The existence of this death hole remains a major challenge to geologists due to its formation mechanism and special ecosystem. Tam Jar Blue Hole in Mexico opens within shallow sea as a mysterious blue abyss, famous because its real bottom remains unknown. In 2024, scientists recorded a minimum depth of more than 1,380 feet, making it the deepest known blue hole. Earlier measurements placed Tam Jar at about 900 feet, showing that older equipment had seriously underestimated the true scale of this sea pit. You can recognize it from above by the dark water area surrounded by brighter sea, marking a sudden change in depth. Abismo Anhumas is a mesmerizing vertical sinkhole hidden deep within the earth in Brazil, with an entrance consisting of only a narrow crack. To explore the mysterious world below, you must perform a breathtaking abseil challenge over a free-fall distance of 236 feet. Upon reaching the bottom, a massive underground lake with a depth of 262 feet appears alongside the largest conical stalagmites globally. These strange formations, standing 65 feet high, formed silently over millions of years before being completely submerged by the rising water. The absolute transparency of the water, combined with penetrating light rays, creates an extreme environment full of various potential risks. Scientists are still working to decode the dangerous geological mechanisms and the strange natural phenomena hidden within this unique location. Eleuthera Island in the Bahamas possesses ocean sinkholes deeper than 600 feet, where they are considered mysterious gateways leading into the heart of the Earth. This special geological structure, formed from the erosion of limestone over millions of years, creating massive underground caves. The tidal mechanism causes the water in the sinkholes to constantly rise and fall, creating strong whirlpools that can pull down any object. The environment below is completely devoid of oxygen, helping to preserve intact ancient turtle fossils and historical relics from thousands of years ago. The stratification between fresh water and salt water creates a strange illusion layer, causing disorientation for divers who want to explore. This cave system extends for miles beneath the island, hidden with extreme risks that always make scientists remain very cautious. Krakow in the Basilicata region of Italy stands precariously on a cliff 1,312 feet high and is being swallowed by giant sinkholes. Large-scale landslides have moved millions of tons of earth and created cracks hundreds of feet deep through the entire ancient city. This self-destroying geological mechanism stems from soft clay layers accumulated millions of years ago when the area was under the ocean. Mistakes in the water system planning in the 1950s triggered the disaster, causing nearly 1,800 residents to flee in haste. The cracked Comanche landscape surrounding the landmark creates an extreme environment where architectural structures are torn apart in a very surreal way. Currently, the entire ancient town is under strict monitoring because the tectonic shifts continue and could soon erase all remaining historical traces. Right in the county of Surrey, in England, lies the Devil's Punch Bowl, a deadly hollow with a strange appearance, as if carved by a giant hand. This massive crater mouth stretches about 0.75 miles wide, with steep sandstone cliffs, creating a deep space full of many hidden dangers. Scientists determine the depth from the rim to the valley floor reaches over 300 feet, making anyone who looks down feel completely overwhelmed. Its formation mechanism stems from underground water currents, eroding the sand layer below, causing the entire rock and soil surface to collapse totally. Thick fog layers frequently accumulate in the deep bottom, causing visibility to be obscured and leading to a loss of direction for everyone exploring. Continuous underground landslides occur, making this landmark one of the most terrifying natural sinkholes on the entire surface of the Earth. A rusted red lake named Berkeley Pit in Montana within the United States hides a deadly peril from its extremely high acid concentration. With a length of 1 mile and a width of half a mile, this deep pit formed after pumps were turned off, letting groundwater flood the copper mine. The water depth here reaches over 900 feet and continues to rise every day, creating immense geological pressure. The acid levels in the lake reach 2.5, causing the water to turn a strange rusty red and dissolve any organic matter. Complex geological structures combined with high levels of arsenic have turned this area into the most seriously polluted site in American history. This strange location now stands as a reminder of environmental destruction with an extreme ecosystem that scientists have always feared. Plura Cave in Norway, hidden deep within the Plurdalen Valley, is the longest submerged cave system in northern Europe with a magnificent white marble structure. This gateway into the earth possesses treacherous narrow passages and giant galleries located deep beneath layers of hard rock. The deepest point of this frozen sinkhole reaches over 443 feet, equivalent to the height of a 40-story skyscraper underwater. The water here is so transparent that the naked eye can observe everything at a distance of 328 feet, creating an infinite space illusion. Exploratory divers must face extreme water pressure 14 times higher than on the ground, along with the risk of being lost forever. Plura has become a terror for the scientific community due to its complex terrain and the history of dramatic body recovery missions deep inside the mountain. Twin Lagoons in the Philippines is a massive limestone labyrinth where deep geological sinkholes hide many mysterious and deadly hazards. The unique geological structure here creates water pockets with an overwhelming depth of more than 130 feet that make anyone shudder. Light refraction between salt and fresh water blurs the vision like an oil slick, causing severe disorientation for all swimmers. The surrounding karst limestone cliffs are as sharp as razors and ready to slash any protective gear if visitors accidentally touch them. Differences in water density create immense pressure on the eardrums and underwater currents that can pull divers down to the bottom. When the tide rises, the only exit through the narrow cave is completely blocked, turning this place into a terrifying natural prison. This is Danakil in Ethiopia, a depression sitting directly above shifting tectonic plates, where the Earth's crust is so thin that molten magma lies only a few miles beneath your feet. The vibrant, colorful pools at Dalol are actually deadly mixtures of sulfuric acid and salt with toxic pH levels that possess the power to corrode everything instantly. With average annual temperatures frequently exceeding 122 degrees Fahrenheit, this area holds the official record as the hottest and most unforgiving place on the entire planet. You will see that Erta Ale is one of the very few volcanoes on Earth with a permanent molten lava lake looking like a fiery red eye of hell. Near this harsh depression, archaeologists discovered the famous Lucy fossil dating back 3,200,000 years, which is considered a distant ancestor of the human race. Scientists have confirmed that certain pools in Danakil contain no microbial life at all, because the environment is far too hot and acidic for any organism to survive. Located 980 feet beneath Chihuahua, Mexico, lies Nika Cave, a massive limestone cavern housing the largest gypsum crystals ever discovered on Earth. Two mining brothers named Juan and Pedro Sanchez accidentally discovered this marvelous cave in the year 2000 while drilling a new exploratory tunnel. These crystal giants have continuously grown for 500,000 years, reaching incredible lengths of 39 feet and weighing over 55 tons each. Under 99% humidity, water vapor condenses directly inside the lungs, causing humans to face a deadly dry drowning within minutes of entry. Pure white crystal columns crisscross and sparkle through the thick steam, creating a surreal landscape that looks like it belongs on another planet. Even with specialized protective cooling gear, the human body can only survive for a maximum of 30 minutes before suffering from fatal heat stroke. Pravčica Brana in the Czech Republic is one of the most massive and mysterious sandstone wonders that you are strictly forbidden from stepping upon. This geological structure possesses a natural arch span stretching 87 feet, holding the record as the largest stone bridge in all of Europe. Since 1982, authorities have issued a permanent ban on humans walking on the arch because severe erosion threatens to collapse the structure. The thinnest part of the stone span is currently only about 10 feet and continues to thin over time due to natural geological impacts. Violating the access ban at this restricted land will result in heavy legal penalties aimed at preserving the precious monument. The isolation and danger of Pravčica Brana turn this place into a challenging forbidden landmark for any attempt at unauthorized approach. Gwynedd Island, located off the coast of Scotland, was transformed into the most terrifying biological weapons laboratory in human history during the Second World War. The British military detonated bombs filled with deadly anthrax spores to test the capability of destroying life on a massive scale. These lethal spores can survive persistently in the soil for many decades, which caused the island to be completely sealed off, starting in 1942. To decontaminate the entire area of 480 acres, experts had to spray 280 tons of strong chemicals to kill pathogens. Although declared safe in 1990, the mass graves of infected livestock still create a massive psychological barrier for any potential visitors. Today, this site remains solitary in the middle of the ocean as a haunting reminder of the horrific destructive power of biological weapons. Robins Island, located in the northwestern waters of Tasmania in Australia, is a vast private fortress with a total area of 24,000 acres. The only way to enter this territory is to cross the passage strait by special vehicles when the tide drops to its lowest level. Giant sand dunes reaching heights of 100 feet shift constantly, making the terrain here a deadly trap for any strangers. Strict blockade measures aim to protect the rare Wagyu cattle and prevent infectious diseases that could destroy the Tasmanian devil population. Absolute isolation, along with rigid rules, has turned Robins Island into a mysterious and completely impenetrable forbidden land today. Heard Island lies isolated in the southern Indian Ocean as a dangerous natural fortress that the Australian government strictly forbids people from visiting without authorization. This remote Antarctic volcanic island faces extreme weather conditions, and almost no one can set foot there without obtaining a special government permit in advance. Black sand beaches encircle the island, creating a landscape that looks like the surface of another planet and making this land completely different from the outside world. Millions of penguins and seals dominate the entire area, turning it into a wild kingdom where humans have no right to settle or live permanently. Located deep within a forest in the state of New York in the United States' eternal flame, Falls is a natural wonder marked by a dangerous contrast of elements. The waterfall pours down like a white curtain, concealing a small rock niche where a yellow-orange flame continues to burn steadily beneath the cool, flowing water. Although visitors are allowed to approach the small cave holding the eternal flame, still has restricted boundaries to ensure safety for everyone. Smooth layered shale rock surrounding the flame niche forms a natural chamber that reflects light through splashing droplets of water. Lake Natron, located in northern Tanzania, is one of the most mysterious bodies of water on the planet, with the ability to calcify any creature. The pH level here reaches a record of 10.5, which gives the lake water a horrific corrosive power equivalent to strong cleaning chemicals. High alkalinity combined with a massive amount of salt minerals creates a protective coating that preserves animal carcasses as intact as statues. The characteristic vibrant red color covers a large surface area due to the strong growth of salt-loving microorganisms within the lake. This is the breeding ground for 75% of the world's lesser flamingo population because the dangerous terrain protects them from predators. Absolute isolation and harsh natural conditions turn Lake Natron into a dangerous forbidden land that is extremely difficult for humans to access. The Darvaza gas crater in the Karakum Desert of Turkmenistan is a giant sinkhole burning for over 50 years due to a human mistake. Engineers accidentally collapsed a drilling rig in 1971 and lit the gas pit, hoping it would soon go out. This area is always covered by very high methane concentrations, making the surrounding environment toxic and extremely dangerous for any living thing. The government of Turkmenistan has repeatedly ordered the site blocked and sought to extinguish this fire to protect valuable natural resources. This location is currently considered the longest continuously burning gas crater in the world and remains a forbidden land for unprotected people. Lake Hillier lies isolated off the western coast of Australia as a vivid pink jewel that is restricted to preserve its untouched natural appearance. The bright pink lake has strictly limited access in order to protect the microorganisms responsible for producing its unusual and striking coloration. The salinity of the lake reaches about 340 parts per thousand, comparable to the Dead Sea, keeping the surface calm and forming white salt crusts. The thick strawberry milkshake-like pink color remains permanent and does not change even when water is removed from the lake basin. Lençóis Maranhenses National Park in the state of Maranhão in Brazil is a vast white landscape formed by sweeping dunes of fine quartz sand. Shifting sand areas and hidden wetlands lie beyond the towering dunes, creating conditions that can easily cause disorientation and even death for inexperienced visitors. This location receives rainfall about 300 times greater than the Sahara Desert, forming thousands of clear freshwater lagoons scattered between the sand dunes. Covering about 380,000 acres, this wetland region is roughly twice the size of Singapore, defined by wide curves of rolling sand. The sand dunes do not remain fixed, but move about 150 feet each year, producing a constantly shifting maze that challenges navigation skills. Beneath dried lagoons, endemic fish bury themselves in damp mud and wait for the rainy season to return before reviving in remarkable fashion. Lake Blue Hole, hidden among the majestic Caucasus Mountains in Russia, is a deep blue abyss, known for its quiet beauty and concealed danger. This deepest karst lake in the world contains an underground cave system not fully explored, and extremely high hydrogen sulfide levels make it a lifeless lake. The measured depth is about 850 feet, exceeding the height of the Bitexco Financial Tower, yet the true bottom remains unknown. Each day, the lake releases about 18 million gallons of water, enough to fill dozens of Olympic swimming pools, despite having no visible river inflow. The calm surface reflects surrounding vertical cliffs, while concealing intense water pressure capable of crushing most exploration equipment. Local authorities have established strict restricted boundaries around the lake to prevent unexplained diving accidents and sudden disappearances. Ilha da Caída Grande in Brazil lies about 20 miles off São Paulo state, famous as a tightly controlled snake island. The island covers about 106 acres, but ordinary people almost cannot land because access is limited to authorities and researchers. This place is the only natural home of the golden lancehead, a highly venomous snake found only on this isolated island. The landscape shifts from steep rocky shores to humid forest and open grass, creating a remote space filled with risk. Scientific estimates once recorded about 2,000 to 4,000 snakes, lower than online rumors, but still deeply alarming. You can feel its frightening appeal here on island without permanent residence, yet known across the world. The Svalbard Global Seed Vault in Norway lies deep in the Arctic, famous as a doomsday seed store, protecting the world's food future. The facility sits about 800 miles above the Arctic Circle, where cold and dry conditions help keep seeds safer for long storage. Inside seeds are stored at about 0 degrees Fahrenheit, a cold level that slows biological aging and extends sample life. Most of the vault is hidden inside rock, while outside only a small concrete entrance appears among snowstone and Arctic emptiness. The vault can hold about 4,500,000 seed samples, equal to about 2,500,000,000 seeds at average capacity. In 2024, key figures behind the vault received the World Food Prize for protecting crop diversity. Plutonian at Hierapolis, located in Turkey, is a deadly cave where carbon dioxide gas erupts powerfully from deep cracks hidden far beneath the surface of the Earth. The toxic gas concentration here stays at 91%, creating an environment with absolute killing power for anyone who accidentally breathes in the air. This site sits exactly on the Babadag Fault, within the Menderes River Valley, where tectonic plates constantly shift and form open wounds in the Earth's crust. Even today, birds that accidentally fly too low over the cave mouth will suffocate instantly before falling and leaving their dry bodies on the ground. An invisible lake of toxic gas rises 16 inches above the floor and is ready to swallow any small living creature that steps into this danger zone. On calm days, the mist blends with escaping gases to create a hazy smoke that looks like spirits trying to reach their hands out of the dark ground. Deep beneath the town of Centralia, Pennsylvania, lies a massive coal mine fire spreading across more than 3,700 acres, and it continues to grow every single day. The entire population of over 1,000 people in 1980 had to evacuate urgently, and by the year 2020, only 5 residents remained in this ghost town. This fire started in 1962 and has burned for over 64 years, with enough coal to keep the flames alive for another 250 years. Ancient trees around the town have had their roots cooked by the heat, leaving white trunks in the grey landscape like dry arms reaching out from the earth for help. You will see that the cracked Highway 61 has become a colourful 1-mile-long graffiti path where thousands of people come to paint over the smoking fissures. In 1981, a boy named Todd Domboski was swallowed by a sinkhole in his backyard, but luckily survived before being cooked by the 150-degree Fahrenheit heat.